Hey everybody, it's Martha here from Northside. For today's class, we have a 30-minute yin for you. We'll be focusing on opening up the shoulders and the hips. It's a really lovely way to release tension that might be built up from the day. All you need is a mat. Having some pillows might be handy, but this class is sequenced for minimal to no props. So I hope it's what you were looking for, and let's get started.
We'll start the class today by lying onto our backs, the legs extended, or maybe bending the knees and drawing the knees down towards the ground. Getting comfortable here, letting the arms fall naturally alongside the body, or maybe one hand rests onto the stomach, the other onto the chest to feel your heart beating. Taking a few moments to arrive into your body. Closing over the eyes and drawing the shoulders down away from the ears. Letting your head sink heavy into the ground behind you and softening through the hips. Releasing any tension that might be held in the face, the forehead, the eyebrows, the cheeks, and the jaw. And letting yourself here be still. And start to observe the natural rhythm of your breath without changing it in any way. Noticing how that feels for you today. Start to elongate each inhale and exhale through the nose. Taking the breath down into the lungs, down into the stomach. Letting the breath be long and fluid. Noticing the journey of that breath, your lungs expanding, your belly rising. Drawing the knees into touch and taking the feet to the long side of the mat. Resting the hands on the stomach. Continue to feel the breath travel down to the belly. We'll start to come into our first position, happy baby, using the hands to hold on to the outside edges of the feet, drawing the knees close to the chest. Closing the eyes, letting the hips soften, the lower back meets the floor. If anyone at home is new to the practice of yin, we hold each position here for 3 to 4 minutes, which allows us to work deeper into the connective tissues of the body and into our fascia, which acts like glue running up and down our body. By working deeper into these connective tissues, we're able to not only improve our flexibility, but also to improve the circulation of our joints and help with the regulation of our body's energy flow. Releasing the legs down, placing the right ankle on top of the left thigh, drawing the knee out towards the side, interlacing the fingers on top of the left lower leg and drawing it close in towards the chest. Flexing the right foot to protect the knee joint as we come into a reclined pigeon position, opening out through the outer right hip. And if anyone is having trouble with racing thoughts, being kind to yourself, instead try not to assign any meaning to those thoughts, but rather use your breath as an anchor to guide you to the present moment. Releasing the hands away from the lower leg, the arms come to shoulder level, and either placing the right ankle on top of the left thigh, drawing the knees over towards the right side. Or if you'd like to intensify the stretch, wrapping the legs around each other as we come into twisted roots, a wonderful spinal twist, option of gazing towards the ceiling or over towards the left palm. Taking a moment to tune into your body and listening to the feedback it's giving you. Noticing any areas of tightness where you might be holding some tension, and seeing with the next exhale whether you're able to soften. Begin to lift the knees up to center, unravel the legs, and bringing the left ankle on top of the right thigh, flexing the left foot. The hands come to the lower right leg and draw the knee in towards the chest. As we come into our reclined pigeon position on the other side. Softening through the jaw and sinking the hips in towards the earth. Maybe noticing any differences between the left and the right side. We'll take 3 more deep breaths here. Start to release the hands away from the legs, drawing them to shoulder level, and coming into twisted roots, drawing the knees over towards the left side. Again, option of gazing towards the ceiling or towards the right hand. Knowing in the practice of yin that every body looks different, and that you are the best judge of your own body. So if it feels right to modify or adjust according to how you feel, then please feel free to do so. We'll take 3 more deep breaths here. Inviting movement back into your fingers. Start to move the knees back to center. And then drawing the feet to the long edge of the mat, the knees come into touch. Resting the hands onto the body once again to feel the heartbeat and the stomach rise. We'll take a few deep breaths here as we neutralize the spine. Begin slowly to move into an upright position as we make our way into a wide-legged child's pose. Taking the feet to touch and the knees towards the long edges of the mat. Sinking the hips down into the heels. Start to walk the hands slowly forwards, letting the forehead rest onto the mat. In our wide-legged child's pose, we're able to stretch out through the inner hips, releasing tension from the lower back. A wonderful option here is to modify with a bolster or a cushion underneath the chest, and letting the torso melt down onto the cushion. We'll take 3 more deep breaths here. And begin to lift the forehead up from the ground, moving the weight forwards as we come into a shoulder stretch. Extending the arms in front, keeping the hips lifted as we come into puppy pose. Resting the forehead onto the ground. Option of coming up onto fingertips here to intensify the stretch. Keeping the hips on top of the knees, the feet parallel to the long edge of the mat. Letting the chest soften. And seeing with every exhale whether you're able to release further. We'll take a few more deep breaths here. And slowly lifting up to a tabletop position. We'll start to thread the needle, lifting the right arm up, sweeping it underneath the left. The right shoulder comes down onto the mat, letting the cheek rest onto the ground. Option of staying with the arm on the ground or lifting the left arm up to the ceiling, wrapping it around the back and hooking in between the thighs. It's a wonderful position for releasing any tension held into the upper back. We'll take 3 more deep breaths here. And releasing the left hand, placing it onto the ground, lifting yourself up to tabletop. The left hand reaches high and sweeps underneath the right armpit. Left shoulder meets the ground, either staying here or wrapping the right hand around the back, tucking it in between the thighs. Noticing the sensation here as you open out through the chest. And feel free to make any minor adjustments as you need to, knowing that you're not stuck in any position. But try to do so from a place of finding comfort and stability. rather than from a place of fidgeting. We'll take 3 more deep breaths here. Grounding into the right hand, begin to lift up into a tabletop position. We'll move our weight forward so that we're lying onto our stomachs as we come into Sphinx pose. The forearms placed in front of us, parallel to each other, as we lift and open out through the chest. The legs are long and extended, placing the heels together and softly closing over the eyes. If it feels comfortable for you, releasing any tension from the neck by lowering the chin towards the chest. We'll take 3 more deep breaths here. And start to relax the front body all the way down onto the mat. The forehead rests onto the left forearm. The right hand meets the right foot and draws the heel close towards the sitting bones. Feeling a stretch here in the quadricep.
Okay.
We'll take 3 more deep breaths here. Releasing the right foot down to the ground. The right forearm comes in front of the face. The left hand reaches for the left foot, drawing the heel close in towards the hips. Taking 3 more deep breaths. Releasing the left foot away from the hand and lifting the legs up, the feet face the ceiling, and taking them down to the right and left side in a windscreen wiper motion to release tension from the hips. And when you're ready, start to come into your final resting pose, Shavasana. Feel free here to make it your own by taking the knees in towards the center or out towards the side as we did at the beginning. Maybe placing a blanket underneath the knees or behind the head to act as a cushion. Placing the hands alongside the body or onto the stomach. Softly closing over the eyes. Softening the head, the neck, the shoulders, releasing the chest, the belly, the hips, the legs, and the ankles. Letting your body feel supported by the ground beneath you. And offering yourself some words of compassion here for attending the class, for giving yourself this 30 minutes to open your body and be still. Continue to rest here for a few moments. Making small movements with your hands and your feet. Begin to waken the body by lifting the arms up over the head, drawing the knees in towards the chest, giving yourself a big hug. And gently rolling to the left or right side, keeping the knees and elbows bent. Taking a few moments here in this fetal position, feeling safe and secure. In your own time, coming to a seated position, keeping the eyes closed, rubbing the hands quickly together to create heat and warmth, placing the hands over the closed eyes, and opening your eyes up to the warmth and darkness of your palms. Taking your hands in front of your chest, gently bowing your head. We'll end the class with a namaste.